but how lovely and glossy it looks. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. So on today's video, we're going to be working on this mannequin with all of this hair. She's got loads of hair, and we're going to be working with longer layers. It's one of the biggest things, I suppose, in salon. When people have got hair like this, they don't want to be losing too much length, and it's going to be also a big trend for 2024. We're going to be moving away from the sort of shortness of the wolf cut of shags and that. They still be big, but the long layers is where it's going to be at with people when they're wanting something maybe new, maybe refreshed. So I'm going to take you through a very, very simple way to put long layers, think the butterfly haircut-esque layers into hair. We're going to be working on dry hair just so you can see how it is instantly. And we're going to be working with a compound, or is it compressed cutting technique? I always get mixed up with these two. So compound compressed cutting is where we work with big sections. It is a technique, it's a terminology that we use, and we'll take all of the hair up in a section and we'll cut it. I'm going to be using a point cut technique because we're going to be wanting to soften off those lines. We're going to be taking off, not loads. I want to keep this mannequin nice and long so I can do some color techniques on it. But I would say probably that. What's that? That's nearly the comb's length. So if you would say to somebody in the salon, we're going to take that off today, they probably think that's a lot. But you can see this hair here, it's a little bit tapered out, a little bit thin. So we're going to take that off. We're working with 5 sections today, and I'll just talk you through it, and I'll also draw them for you so you can see the placement as well and why we're placing it there. But we've split the head into 2. I've worked from the high point just here, split in there. We've got 2 sections at the front, which are pushed forward, and we've got 3 sections at the back. 1 here, 1 in the middle, and 1 there. And how we work that out is we put our comb, similar to how we find our high point, where we do that, find the high point section through, we will put that on the top here, and where the head starts to move away from the comb, there, that's given us the section. So I'll just draw it up on the board, and then we'll get straight into the haircut. Right, so sectioning, working from the high point of the head. So working through here, coming straight across there. I really need to get a ruler. So we're coming across there, and we're separating middle part through there. So we've got 1 side, 2 sides, whoop, there. So 1 and 2 at the front. And then that's where we placed our comb on top where the head starts to curve. And we basically come down like that to give us 3, 4, 5 sections all together. If you're looking here, we're working like that. So we've got 3, 4, 5. And then if we're looking here, there, so that would be number 2 on this side. And then we'd probably be working like that, which is number 3. And you can see number 4 just there. So that is how we're going to section. We've already sectioned, and we're going to be working with compound compressed. Let me know in the comments down below. Compound compressed. Can't like compressed because you're compressing all the hair together, but then compounding the hair together also seems right. I can't remember. But let's get into the haircut, and we'll create a beautiful long layered haircut. Right. All of this beautiful hair. I'm not going to take any length off because we are going to be pretty much taking off length anyway with how we're going to layer. So we want to find a guide, and how we're going to do that. We're going to start on section number 4 on here, but that is that middle section on this back. So we want to just be taking a top point here. You get to see just through here. And like I said, let's take off pretty much with how the length of the hair is, that comb's length. So just there, you see? Yeah, you can see. So there is our guide, this haircut. Now we're working with that technique, compound, compressed. Let me know what I want to do. We want to be working from the guide so we can actually see the guide. So I'm going to spin the mannequin round, and I want to get the guide, which is just there. And what's really nice about this is because we take it in bigger sections, you get a little bit of over direction, not very much, but because we're working in big sections like that, we can press it into the middle so we can cut. You get a slight bit of softness, maintaining the length, blending. Here we go. So I'm going to get this guide now, it's just there. I'm going to switch over to my fine tee just so I've got a bit more control, and there we have it. So all I'm going to do for a minute, there's my guide. I'm just going to take this off. Just a bit more control. We still want the control when it comes to cutting this haircut. This isn't like a ponytail haircut where we don't, well, hit and hope sort of thing, like, oh, it looks great. There's a bit more to this, but it's still very, very simplified. So there we go. There's my guide just there. And I'm just point cutting that off through there, making sure the hair isn't sagging too much. But to be honest, that's probably going to be our length anyway. There's still a little bit there we need to take off. If you can see, just need to, there we go. And the reason as well that I cut up there, because a lot of people will drop their fingers down and do that. I like to cut the hair where I'm sort of sectioning to, because I know I can keep my tension. I know I'm elevating because we're layering. So anything above 90 degrees is classed as a layer. If I do that and then drop down here, we're below 90 degrees. So we're actually in a graduation, although it won't look a graduation because it's long hair and it's long layers. but technically graduation, layer. And that's how cutting hair works. So again, I'm just going to just deep point cut into there just to remove just a bit of the weight. Now, if we just spin around so you can see how that middle layer is now sitting, just combing through. And it's quite similar to the haircut I did recently actually, which was the box layer, the square layer, because we're taking up square like this and we are cutting in there and we're maintaining a lot of that because it doesn't really reach. But what I'm going to do after, once I've done all this back section, I'm then going to be pulling straight out like this and then softening off to blend it a little bit more, so you're not left with like a layer and then a length. So let's jump into this section now so you can see. So we still want to find our guide, and we know where that is because that is on that high point just there. And I'm just going to take this section here, and I'll do it here so you can see where we're going to be taking to. We're actually going to be over directing to this guide in the middle. And what this will do, it will keep the perimeter longer, because if we were to cut out here a square layer, we'd be losing a lot more length than if we bring it into this middle. We're actually going to maintain a bit more. So there's our guide that we put in first. Here is our new section. I'm pulling the new section over the guide so I can see the guide now, like so. There is my guide. Done. So you can already see a lot more movement in that hair. Again, let's take this clip out, take that section. We find our guide again, which is just here on top. We're going to be pushing this new section of hair over to the middle. This one is quite tangly actually. So there's our guide. I've just picked it up there. Here's our guide, so you can see there. Beautiful. Now I just need to see the guide, which I can't because I'm around the back, just there. And there's my guide just popped out. So you can see this hair here is traveling over. That hair there is up. Straight up, sorry. Just make sure we keep that tension and keep this hair all together. Like I say, you could do this on wet, you could do it on dry. You could, if a client come in and wanted something, quite a change, and you were thinking, right, I need to colour hair first, but she wants a change. So if I colour it, I need to colour to the haircut. This could be a great way to do that. You could do this in the salon, right? Section it off like this. Cut it all in because you know they want long layers, and then you know exactly where to colour to because you've got the haircut in there. There we go, like that. So it's just putting some really nice long layers in. And then what I want to do is working just middle back. I'm just going to section down again through those sections that we took originally. And I'm just going to come out like this and just see if there's, well, just connect it slightly is what we want to do. This mannequin is very tangled. So you can see, to be honest, there's a really nice connection in there already. I thought there was going to be a little bit of disconnection. What I probably want to do is just take a bit of the length off, tiny bit, just that bit that's tapered out. So we'll do that at the very end. And then what we'll do is we'll style it and then I'll show you the finished result. But we've still got the two front sections to do. So pulling this side out, again, we find our guide and I'm going to cut from this side just so I can see my guide. Because when I was cutting this side for you, so you could see, it is quite difficult to see your guide if you can't see your guide. And that's one thing as well, when people are learning to cut hair, if they're standing on the wrong side of the head and their guide is on the other side, and a lot of students, they're like, oh God, I've lost my guide, I don't know where it is. A lot of the time is because they stand on the wrong side of the head. Right, so I've got my guide just at my fingers now. This hair is all coming towards me to the middle. There's my guide, straight there. Oops, you see, can you? There you go. I'll show you on this side a little bit easier, but I'm like back against the wall so you can see with this long hair. But there we go. And then just spin it there. And then what you should be able to see is just a little bit of shape through there. Long layers, butterfly layers. Very, very soft. Take that out there. I'll go quite far back so you can see, because I should be able to, oh no, I need to stand this side, don't I? I'll stand this side so you can again see how I'm pulling it up. But I just need to take that first guide that we put in and then taking all this side section here straight over that middle piece, that guide, so you can see there. Straighten up a little bit. Gosh, a bit wonky, isn't she? Come on. So guide straight up, this hair pushed over like so. I've seen my guide, so I've got that. And to be honest, I should have been on the other side. Let me do that. What a rookie hair. Nice. Straight. Here we go. We're ready to go. Gonna pull it back against the wall. Straight up, I can see my guide there now at my fingers. I want to make sure that hair there is coming over the middle like that. There we go. Just put some really nice shape all in around the face. And if you want to personalize it, I'm just going to run through probably like 2-inch sections. I'm just going to soften off and connect just some pieces just on these fronts like that. Take this section. And what I'm looking for, so you can see there's all our layers there, and it just gets a little bit long. So I just want there to be a bit more of a connection there, whereas it can look a little bit like boom, boom. But this is all personal preference. You wouldn't have to do this. You could do it if you want to. Personalizing, refining is very, very personal. I just want there to be a little bit more softness in there and a little bit more connection. So spin around here, take this section like so, and then I'm just going in there just to soften off, and like I said, just connect. So there, and then what we'll do is we'll just take off a bit of length. We won't need to at the front because we're already taken a lot off the front, but here you look, so there's a bit more shape to it. We just need to lose that straggly end through there, but it just gives you that little bit more, like a little bit more volume, a little bit more texture, but a little bit more floatiness, more blow dries. Like when you curl hair, you'll get a bit more what's the word, definition from it. So that is why we've done this hair. I'm just going to pull straight back here. So we work in A line, and what that is where you pull it straight back. If I wanted to work on a square line, I'd cut the back and then I'd cut the sides here, so it's like there, so it's a square line. This is an A line, so when I cut the back, cut it all back, and then when you wear it forward, it's a little bit longer because this is over directing back. Let's bring her up. I was going to get on my knees, but I don't need to. But also there's a big trend at the minute, which is the V cut. Now that haircut gives you a perfect V, so you can see there. Now really popular at the minute as well, the V shape. But I don't want to keep that V shape. I'm not going to sort of cut it all so it's blunt. What I'm going to do is I'm just looking at the density there and point cutting because I want it to be soft. So it just gives you a much healthier perimeter when you're looking at it like that. And that's all I would do. And then if it comes to where, right, we're going to colour now, we could jump into a colour. We've got all the layers and the movement in there that we want to colour to, and then that'd be a great way to do it before. Then once you've rinsed the colour, you've got it wet, you could either go through it again if you want to, but this is just a really quick way to put some shape into hair if you haven't got the time, or like I said, with a colour, you need to put a bit of movement in there to colour towards colour like placement. That'd be the way to do it. So there we go, guys. That is it. Just basically taking out the clips, cut the baseline in, and we've kept it like this. But you can see there's a lot more shape and everything in the haircut. There's a bit more going on with it. So if somebody wanted a big trend that's going to be happening next year, which is just like lived in layers, long layers, then that would be a very easy way to do it. Just make sure you get your sections in, make sure you're over directing to over the middle, because then you're going to keep your perimeter nice and long and full. And then you're going to be like putting in those nice soft layers because you're elevating and over directing both tools and techniques that we use to create softness in haircuts. So I'm going to get this just curled and then just going to brush it out. Nothing like major, but just so you can see how we've got that shape and how we're going to manipulate it once it's styled. So here's the finished result, guys. I'm just brushing through. I worked just some curls in with some flat iron, some straighteners, just to give it a little bit of movement. And so you can actually see the shape that's there, but how lovely and glossy it looks. So there we go, guys. That is the finished result. Just so you can see a really bit of a loose wave, a little bit sort of glam, to be honest. But what we've got in there is that long layer, but just so you can see how it looks and how quickly it was to create. So if you want to see how I did the curl, the wave, head over to my Instagram. I've just started really knuckling down on Instagram, paulwatts.life. I'll link it down below. So you can be able to see I'm working on a lot of 15 to a minute second clips of education for you to learn. So if you want to head over there, doing it all there. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.